All right, so today we had kind of a strength power day, but everything's a little bit slower. So we're not doing any like maximal jumping, sprinting, plyometrics. We started with some hip mobility, went into some extensive plyos, single leg hops, super light bounding, and then jumped into some trap bar jumps with a reversal. So we're jumping, landing, and then reversing that weight for kind of like a high pull. So yeah, the main thing we're looking for is that reversal. So we're getting some weight coming down, and then we got to turn it around really fast. Felt pretty good on the knees. Yeah, and then we just moved on to our squats. So we're doing a 5x5 for squat. So this is the main thing that I'm focusing on right now, strength-wise. And I really don't like to have too much going on. And then with our squat, we're trying to get all the way down. At least for me, I don't think there's much utility right now in doing like half and quarter rep squats. And personally, I think for most people, there's not a lot of utility in that. And you're better off just picking a regressed version of the exercise that you can get further down with. Yeah, basically, I just think if you can get a full squat, it's worth doing. And there's very few instances that I'm going to pick a quarter or a half squat, especially if I can't already get into a full squat, right? So, and then from like a tissue health and mobility side of things, that full range of motion squat is going to give you a lot of bang for your buck, right? You're going to develop your quads more than a half squat or a box squat. You're going to get the mobility in the hips and kind of the shins there and the ankles from that full squat. And if you're doing it properly, you're going to have to load kind of through your foot in a way that I think will transfer better to sporting movements, right? So if you're just focused on getting your thighs parallel and you're not going all the way down, you're doing like maybe like a half squat, then you're sitting back on those hips or you're sitting back on those heels, hips are shooting back, and that's not very like sport specific, and I'm not convinced that's going to transfer very well. And if we're going to do that, we might as well just do a trap bar deadlift and lower our spine a little bit less. So pick the exercises you want. If you want to do a quarter squat and you want to get your knees forward a little bit and load those quads up, great, awesome. Or a half squat and you want to do it like that, that's awesome. But if not, just pick a different exercise and make your squat squatty. Pick a split squat, but anyways, enough of that rambling. Just trying to reiterate here that you're better off just picking a different exercise if you can't actually get down there. But yeah, and then after squats, we just did some single leg GHD isometrics. I had a little plate drop in there, but my hamstring was kind of sore. I think something might be going on with the right one. So I think we're just going to make that isometric hold for like 30 seconds, more of a yielding iso. And then we just finished up with some overcoming calf isometrics for 5 seconds. With that, we're just thinking a little bit more sport specifically or run specific, jump specific with the calf training. So if you think about like a run or a single leg jump, you're putting in probably like, you're definitely putting in over 5 times your body weight through that calf muscle, and it has to basically be super tight isometrically. So that calf muscle basically just contracts and then shortens, and that tendon stretches and then shortens, and you're able to use that elastic energy. And a nice overcoming isometric, I think, is a great way to train that and pairs well with that. And that's just something you're not going to get from like your typical calf raise. Maybe through like a heavy calf raise partial would be okay as well, but I also don't really need to develop much more calf tissue. Like I have massive calves. So yeah, I'm just thinking about an overcoming iso to load those tissues a little bit better or a little bit more specifically to the demands of my sport. So anyways, I'm at the beach here. We're going to pop in the water for a little bit of end of the day relaxation and wind down. So I'll turn this baby around and we'll get up in there. All right, let's get up in this bitch. All right. Nice and cold for the kid. Ooh. I don't know, they say it gets easier. I'm not sure about that. Everything's on there. Ooh. Definitely forces you to calm the fuck down though. See how long we get here today. Man, beautiful mountains over there. Damn, it's hard to get in this water, but really forces you to calm the F down. Forces you to take some deep breaths. And just do something you don't really want to do. All right. Whew. Ooh. All righty. Man, that relaxes you. You can't be tense in that water. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one, the next day. Whew.